If you don't want to die broke, I have got 5 tips for you. Five things that you can do to ensure that you won't die broke. Let's get into it. All right. I said let's get into it like I was going to make a cut, like I'm editing this video. I do that in all my other videos that we edit. But this is the channel where I don't edit. So the let's get into it is just flowing right into a conversation about why I said let's get into it. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Scott Simpson. I own a company called Graffiti Media. We do YouTube done for you management for corporate clients or business owners, personal brands. We work with some of the coolest people in the world. And I'm on a mission to scale my agency from 7 to 8 figures. That's what this channel is all about. You get the ups, you get the downs, you get the business advice, you get my thoughts on artificial intelligence, you hear about my wins, you hear about my losses. I just made a sob story yesterday or the other day about how $60,000 of our revenue for the month is up in the air right now. And so that's real life. If you're interested in that stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I can guarantee you one thing. Every single one of these videos that I am producing will have value to someone and will have value for the most part in general. I think there are probably some people who disagree with me on that sentiment, but I try to make sure that I'm value-oriented, value first, so that way you guys always have some good takeaway. I've been around the block, folks. Been around the block. All right, 5 things so that you don't die broke. Here they are. Number 1, consistently invest in something that has value. Now, you're going to be like, hey, Scott, I know this. Doy. I have to invest. Doy. We've all heard those people, like, remember like in economics class in high school? I don't know if your economics class did this. My economics class did. In economics class in high school, my teacher was like, hey, if you start investing $100 a month and you do that now at 18 years old, by the time you're 40 years old, you're going to have $10 million or something like that. The law of, what is it? Like, at this percentage rate, you will double every 7 years. Something like that. Anyway, how many of you guys took up your economics teacher on that? Did you start investing $100 a month at 18? And have you stayed consistent with it? Okay, that's kind of a gimme. Invest in something that has value. Well, let me give you some thoughts here. Stocks, yes. Timeless collectibles, sure. Like, talking about like watches, gold and silver. I wouldn't say like stamps. Stamps, that's not really a collectible that I'd be like, go invest in that. Pokemon cards, it like goes up and down. I had a huge collection of baseball cards when I was a kid. It was like, it just became like worthless. Even though back in the day, I'd look at my Beckett magazine. You guys any baseball card collectors? Beckett magazine had all like the rankings and the pricings. And I'll be like, oh man, I have a card that's worth $6. Yeah, that card is worth probably still $6. It hasn't kept up with inflation. So not a timeless collectible. I'm talking about things that the value continues to grow up. Well, guess what? Here's another thing that has value that you should consistently be investing in if you're not investing in things that are outpacing inflation. Ready for this? Education in a valuable skill. Education in a valuable skill. Investing in education that helps you develop a valuable skill. Now, here's the problem in 2025. Artificial intelligence is kind of throwing education up in the air, right? We don't know. We don't even know. I mean, if we had a looking glass into 15 years from now, I think that the world is going to look completely upside down. And I don't think that the things that people, like the education that people are investing in right now, are actually things that are really going to matter in 15 years. Even with like, people are like coding's the wave of the future. I'm like, no, it's not, because artificial intelligence is going to be doing all the coding for us. You're just going to be able to be like, hey, ChatGPT, can you please make me an app that does this, 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 and this? Can you please 3D print me a robot that does this, 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 and this? I think that's where we're ultimately going. And so when we're talking about valuable skills that will be necessary moving forward, I'm talking about things like sales. This is where some people are going to be like, all right, I've heard enough. Hear me out. Sales are going to be important, not necessarily just for the selling aspect, but for the persuasion aspect. Because interpersonal communication is still going to be very, very necessary, but there's not going to be like this totem pole, this pecking order of like people at a career anymore when artificial intelligence is like takes over 97% of the jobs. So persuasion, communication are skills that you should 100% be investing in right now. Problem solving. Most people, I hate to say this, and this is why entrepreneurs are few and far between. Most people are terrible problem solvers. In fact, most people do whatever they can to avoid problems or to smother problems or to disassociate from their problems, like self-medicate, drinking, drugs. Like most people don't want problems. The smart people, the wise people, the rich people understand that a problem is an opportunity for money flowage. Problems are opportunities for a value exchange, whether that's money or it's, in a time, whatever. If you can get really good at solving problems, you will always, it's a great investment. You will always be valuable. I don't have money in the stock market. I have had money in the stock market before, and I don't like it. I don't have any control over it. But what I'm really, really good at is solving problems for money. And I've gotten so good at it that I can spend an hour building a program out and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, selling it. So where would I rather invest? Where would I rather invest my money? Oh, well, I'd rather invest my money on education that teaches me how to do that, because it's far more lucrative than me putting $100 into the S&P 500 every month of my life. Well, I it's far more interesting. I think it kind of boils down to that, right? What's your personal preference? I would never tell somebody that you should be a problem solver over an investor. But I'm just telling you, for anybody than a stock trader, sorry, not an investor, but a stock trader, like invest in education, invest in stocks, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat, you do you. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not saying one is better than another. Every personality is looking for something else, has a risk tolerance, has a pain tolerance, has an emotional, limit that they can tolerate these different avenues. Some people will want to be educated in these high valuable areas. Some people won't. They'll just be like, no, I just want to invest. Totally fine. There's something for everybody. All right. But invest in something that has value. Okay. Number 2, have an abundance mindset, have an abundance mentality. Here's another thing. Like most people, when they watch this content, a lot of you guys who are watching this content, you're watching this because my title was something like, watch this if you don't want to die broke, which is cool. It's like indicative of wealth creation, right? You're watching this hoping for a nugget that's going to change your mindset or make you believe or elude to simplicity of success or instant success or the speed of success. If you want to know the secret to what makes wealthy people truly wealthy, you want to know why wealthy people are truly wealthy, it's because they think in terms of abundance. It's because they know that if this thing over here doesn't work for them, they've got 18 billion other things that they can try. And they will find one thing. After you attempt probably 100 different things, you're going to find one thing that ends up making you very wealthy. For me, I attempted about probably 15 or 20 things, and it was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, this thing. And this made me a whole bunch of money, millions of dollars. This, my specialized education in YouTube has made me millions of dollars. And it was about 15 tries into it before I found the one thing. And that might be a lot. For some people, it's like 3, 4, 5 things. Have an abundance mentality. You get what you think about. If you fear things, you're going to get more things that are going to scare you. And the more you get scared, the more your mind clenches up. And the more your mind clenches up, the less opportunity can flow through it. The fewer ideas can hit you and stick. So have an abundance mentality. Try to do everything that you can to eliminate the fear-based mentality. A lot of that comes from your internal programming, which I'm going to get to. That's point number 4. So let's go. Number 3, learn to listen and be self-aware, or be so good at something that you can afford not to listen or be self-aware. What do I mean by that? Well, most people are not self-aware and they don't listen, but they're not good enough at anything in particular that they can afford to not listen or be self-aware and still make millions of dollars. I have made millions of dollars because I'm extraordinarily self-aware. And you guys hear it all the time when I talk about, I like in my last video, I was like, I stutter and stammer. If it was a really bad communication day, and like, I'm aware of that. I know my speaking cadence. I know how my attitude comes across on camera. I know how people perceive me because I ask, because I'm aware. And so I also know when to shut up. I know when to listen. I know how hard to push. I know when to pull back. And if you don't understand those cues, then you just have to be ultra talented at whatever it is that you're doing, that you are in the top 1/1000th of a percentile in your category, like an Elon Musk, right? Like Elon Musk, and he's probably a good listener, and he's probably very self-aware. But you know the type, right? There are people, Steve Jobs, right? Jerk. People hated him. He was a jerk. But he was so insanely talented at what he did, at leading teams, at leading product development, at launching products, at getting exposure. He was so insanely talented at those things that it didn't matter how little he listened or how little self-awareness he had. Donald Trump is another, love him or hate him, he's another one. He's actually probably very self-aware. Again, like these people, once they know themselves, they lean into it. But you have to have a skill. If Donald Trump was just an average Joe, nobody would want to be around him. But he's not. He's insanely talented at the things that he does. He is specialized in his area. And I'm going to get comments. I know I'm going to get comments. I'm going to be like, guys, just save your breath. It's not the whole, I'm not having a political discussion. That's not the point of this. Save your time. That's not the point of this. My point is that he's very unlikable to a lot of people. And if this was just a normal Joe, he'd probably be unlikable to most people. But because he's so insanely talented at what he does, it gives him a lot. People give him grace. It gives him a lot of leverage. That makes sense. I hope that made sense. It made sense in my brain when I was saying it. Number 4, here it is, internal. Do the work to erase limiting beliefs. Acknowledge where they came from and try to rewrite your mental frameworks. I got my notes right here too, by the way. So my eyes are shifting over here. It's because I've got a notepad. I was like, I'm having a bad day. And I typed up 3 frameworks. So acknowledge where your limiting beliefs came from and rewrite that framework. There's Carl Jung talks about shadow work, that you have your present self, the self that is aware, that is interacting with the world, and then you have the shadow self, which is looming behind the scenes, that is triggering the emotion of fear, worry, doubt, your self beliefs, your limiting self beliefs. And when you are trying to fix that, awareness is crucial. When you're in the middle of a project and you start to think this is never going to work, you have to acknowledge that. You got to call it out and be like, wait, why did I say that? Why am I thinking this way? You guys, and this is one of the most freeing things that you will ever, if you can train yourself, it's the most freeing thing you'll ever do. Why did I think that way? You ask yourself, why did I think that way? And then you trace it back to a root source. Where did that come from? And then once you get to that point, you can see it usually has to do with childhood. You can see from an adult perspective. So why the older you get, the easier it is to do this, because you have so much more life experience and wisdom under your belt. It's so much easier to just be like, holy crap, even though my parents told me this about myself, like I have kids that are my age, that are my kids now are the age that it was when my parents said this to me. I understand what my parents were going through at that time when they were dealing with me. And so they said this in a reaction to something, and it actually doesn't matter. It actually isn't true. And so it's so much easier for you to just be like, snuff out those little flames of doubt, those little seeds that are like creeping up while you're trying to do things, while you're trying to accomplish things, while you're trying to get better. Man, this it's so funny. Like I've been working on my audio for the last year, and OBS, for some reason, always turns it down when I'm speaking. And I'll have this thing, some days I'll turn it on and it'll be like peaking. And so then I'll turn down my gain. And then it'll just like slowly start creeping back. And so I have to keep turning up my gain. So right now I'm at a point where my gain is all the way at the highest, and the audio levels maybe look like they're average, but they also look like they're staying more in the green, which is on the lower side. Super frustrating. Haven't been able to figure out. If you guys have an answer to that, I would love to hear it in the comments below. Or if somebody could just be like, yo, Scott, let's hop on a screen share. I'll walk you through it. Dude, I'm like, let's go. I'm happy. Because this is so frustrating. I have some limiting belief. I'm going to trace that back. And I'm going to clear through it. I guess maybe 15 years from now, I'm going to be like, oh man, audio sucks. Wait, why did I think that way? Oh, because OBS. Oh, well, OBS is out of the equation now, and artificial intelligence and robots run everything. So you don't have to worry about sound issues anymore. All right, number 5. This one's super important, and it'll probably make some of you guys, it might make some of you guys emotional. You got to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. And I know that there's probably a lot of reasons not to trust yourself. And some of those reasons are probably valid. But if you don't trust yourself because you had a stumble, that's no reason to eternally trust yourself. I'm a Christian. I'm actually a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormon. And we believe in repentance. We believe in being able to atone for our sins, being able to atone for things that maybe we did wrong in the past, and our slate gets wiped clean. And that's how I want you to approach this too. You know, a business fail is not a sin, right? I'm not talking about like your eternity depends on you succeeding in business. Doesn't at all. The things that you learn along the way, those are things that I think are going to impact you eternally. But my point in this is saying, like, you can forgive yourself for past indiscretions, failures, stumbles. You can forgive yourself. You have to choose to do that, though. And again, go back to point number 4. Do the work. If you're about to take the plunge into something new and you're terrified of it, I get that. But rather than having doubt that it's going to work, why don't you figure out why you have that seed of doubt in the first place and do the work to eliminate that doubt out of your brain completely? And then the second part, this is 5A, trust yourself. 5B is have faith in divine assistance. One of my my old business partner, Marley, she sent me a quote once that was like, build something so big that it requires divine assistance to accomplish. Guys, we don't have to be here floating on this rock, this big ball. If you believe that, might be flat. You never know. I've never been in a spaceship. We don't have to be alone. We don't have to be alone, you guys. We don't have to be alone. I believe that I believe in divine assistance. I pray every single day, and I have seen miracles. I am a walking, talking miracle. I have almost died so many times. So glad that I didn't. I'm here. I believe in divine assistance, and I know what it can do, and that's not for everybody. I get it. So you decide. But I would highly recommend that that you learn how to connect with divinity. All right. If you guys are business owners and you want to learn how to make more, how to increase your revenue, get more leads with YouTube, I have I call them my hot CTAs. I've compiled a list of 30 CTAs in a spreadsheet, totally free. If you don't know what CTAs are, it's calls to actions, like things you say in your videos to get people to go where you want them to go. Well, I've compiled 30 of them. All you got to do is copy and paste them into your scripts or memorize a few of them and then start saying them in your videos, and you will get more people to your lead magnets, onto your email list, et cetera, et cetera. If that's interesting to you, I got a link down in the description below, and the CTA that I just used is also something that will be in that hot CTA because it's just natural to me, but it works. So anyway, thanks for this. Love to hear your thoughts. Leave them down in the comments. Also, if you have any questions, comments, anything on anything, and you want me to make a video about it, leave that down in the comments as well. Catch you on the next one later. Bye.